Torrential rain pours down relentlessly across the landscape. The seasoned survival expert Greg Evans navigates the flooded Vancouver Island, seeking refuge with his old friend Joe to pursue a critical seafood harvest. This submerged wilderness remains entirely unforgiving and relentless in its harshness, setting the stage for a truly grueling test of raw human endurance against the wild forces of nature. Thick mud covers everything. Greg and his partner Joe deploy a massive tarp to create a dry sanctuary, digging deep trenches to divert the relentless downpour. This setup is not merely casual camping, but a tactical engineering feat against the unforgiving elements of the wild environment. Finn runs around with excitement as they secure the corners to the trees. Greg watches Joe climb high into a large tree to tie off the ropes and ensuring the shelter holds firm. Against the storm, the water flows precisely into the dug channels, demonstrating their careful planning in this harsh wilderness setting. The mechanical growl of a brand new chainsaw shatters the damp silence as Greg tackles massive waterlogged timber with determined, precision and steady hands. He operates beneath the expansive shelter of a 20 by 15 tarp, a structure tall enough to allow comfortable upright movement without any constraint. This strategic stockpiling transforms soaked, unusable logs into vital fuel, ensuring essential warmth against the encroaching cold of the forest nights ahead. Sparks fly in the damp air. Greg meticulously shaves raw wood fibers into a delicate feather stick, echoing the early morning routines of his late father. Finn attempts to sniff the scattered sawdust, but is gently reprimanded by Greg. The friction from the fire steel produces a shower of bright sparks, slowly coaxing thin wisps of smoke from the tinder. This delicate craft is not merely about igniting a fire, but preserving a profound legacy of wilderness survival skills for the future. The sizzling sound of bacon fills the humid air as Greg tends to a hearty breakfast over the glowing embers. He seasons the eggs with a special blend, displaying quiet confidence while Joe savors this rare culinary treat with evident delight. This substantial meal provides crucial energy, fueling their impending expedition into the dense, misty forest that lies ahead in the wild. They prepare to search for valuable golden chandrils. Mist blankets the ancient trees. The duo ventures deep into the rainforest with their loyal German shepherd Finn scouting the mossy terrain for golden chandrils. Every careful step reveals hidden treasures beneath the dense canopy. This simple foraging trip transforms into a highly lucrative harvest that will sustain the entire camp through the coming days of their long and arduous expedition into the wild. Rare fungi emerge from the damp soil. Greg unearths pristine pine mushrooms, carefully extracting the prized specimens to add to their rapidly growing collection of wild food. These delicate finds represent the ultimate reward for braving the treacherous, slippery slopes of the unforgiving wilderness environment surrounding them. In this dense, misty forest landscape around the camp today, golden clusters carpet the forest floor in a breathtaking display of natural abundance. Greg reveals a massive patch of giant chandrils at his secret spot, carefully filling their bags with premium wild ingredients today. This abundant yield guarantees a feast, fully validating the arduous trek through the flooded, treacherous terrain they and you earlier in the day as they searched for food in the wilderness. Amidst the relentless downpour that soaks the dense ferns, Greg constructs a sturdy stone grill over the roaring campfire. He carefully places a massive bone and tomahawk steak onto the hot metal grid. This substantial cut requires patience as he intends to slow cook it to tender perfection. The rich aroma of searing beef begins to rise, offering a stark and welcome contrast to the cold, wet misery of the surrounding wilderness. 1.1 kilogram. Low food, a half. People, the fat on it, eh? Yeah, that's good. Greg carefully moves the steak away from the intense heat to prevent overcooking. He places it in the pan with the foraged mushrooms, slicing through the center to reveal a perfect medium rare interior. The juicy texture is displayed prominently as he remarks that nothing could be better. Just as the rain begins to fall again, he serves the tender meat and earthy fungi to Joe. This deliberate act transforms a simple survival meal into a refined celebration of nature's abundant bounty amidst the wild. Plates are served with precision. Greg portions the exquisite steak, while Joe devours a hearty sandwich before Greg forages horsetail plants for a soothing tea. The transition from a rich feast to herbal foraging highlights their seamless adaptation to the forest's natural rhythm right now. The meticulous preparation of the wild mushrooms and tender meat stands in stark contrast to the simple ravenous consumption by his companion nearby. This juxtaposition underscores a shared yet distinct approach to survival within the wilderness environment today. A massive cloud like fungus blocks the path. Greg stumbles upon this giant cauliflower mushroom by chance while climbing out. He places his green bag beside it for scale, revealing the specimen is even larger. This colossal harvest becomes his final prize for 2021, saving the best for last. Yet the pursuit of sustenance continues relentlessly standing on the gray shore. He casts a line into the misty lake, seeking another challenge amidst the dense forest and low-hanging clouds right now. The foam bobber dips suddenly beneath the surface. Joe's handmade styrofoam float signals a strike leading to the successful capture of 2 fresh trout in the cold water. The catch transforms a dreary rain-soaked day into a triumphant display of wilderness resourcefulness and shared camaraderie among the men, proving their resilience against the relentless elements and harsh weather conditions they face during this challenging outdoor expedition together in the wild and remote location. The camping trip nears its end. Greg notes that Joe is preparing to head home. Having arrived at this remote location earlier, their reunion has allowed them to share genuine camaraderie in the wild. Greg gestures with a thumbs up, urging viewers to venture into the bush. Joe joins him, sitting beside Greg as they exchange warm smiles. Greg introduces Joe's dual YouTube channels focused on wilderness adventures. Joe explains his content covers mushroom picking and fishing, celebrating the joy of being out in nature. Rusty relics emerge from the overgrowth. Greg examines a colossal abandoned steam-powered machinery, pondering its industrial past before returning to the water to cast his line once more. The juxtaposition of decaying industry and enduring nature frames their ongoing quest for outdoor solitude in the wild right now. Finn explores the wet rocks nearby, while Greg carefully organizes his fishing gear. He swings the long rod with considerable force, sending the bait flying toward the center of the lake. This moment captures the quiet persistence of their adventure amidst the elements. The heavy mechanical structure remains silent, mysterious relic of a bygone era that contrasts sharply with the natural beauty surrounding them. The ocean yields no catch, frustrated by the empty waters. Greg shifts his strategy, initiating a stealth camping operation in his friend Jim's garage beside a restored classic Chevy truck from 1955. This unexpected pivot transforms a failed fishing trip into a nostalgic mechanical sanctuary inside the cluttered garage for the night, where the old vehicle stands as a testament to decades of dedicated repair work and personal history. I'm going to show you his old. There's the old 57. Show you another angle of it. Nice grill. We put a flat bed on the. This is where I'm sleeping. Floodwaters swallowed the towns. Greg remained stranded in Langley amidst a historic storm with unprecedented rainfall, severing all routes home. The catastrophic deluge turns his routine expedition into a prolonged ordeal of waiting and raw survival. Entire communities are forced to evacuate. Confined to the garage, Greg channels energy into building a modified crowd trap, using a plastic jug for tides. This ingenious adaptation reflects his refusal to surrender to the stagnant disaster conditions surrounding him today. Metal tracks align as Greg drills aluminum components. The improvised pulley driven by a Pepsi jug is set to function with the tides. This meticulous craftsmanship turns scrap into a functional device, showcasing his relentless ingenuity in the garage today. The mechanism works perfectly. The jug successfully lifts the door, demonstrating a brilliant tidal automation. Yet the designated fishing spot is entirely closed to shellfish harvesting. This bitter regulatory twist dashes his hopes, forcing him to abandon the trap and seek new waters out there today. The ferry cuts through the waves. Greg travels hours north to Gibson's, only to discover that strict harvesting bans still plague the coastline out there today. The endless bureaucratic restrictions compound his deep frustration, leaving the seasoned survivalist stranded and completely denied his primary objective in this remote coastal town. With essential travel finally permitted, Greg seizes the narrow window to drive east toward Hope. He pauses to inspect a massive wooden Sasquatch carving that startles his dog. This brief whimsical detour provides a much-needed psychological release from the grueling logistical nightmare of the journey out there today. The roads remain close to non-essential traffic, making this authorized trip a rare opportunity for him to finally make progress toward home. Squatch here, I want to just pull.
He was barking at